name is ColdBeer, and let's start with Mars Warlogs. This is an absolute hidden gem I have stumbled on by lucky accident. The price and quality ratio of Mars Warlogs is beyond fantastic. The game, as people say, is a hybrid between Fallout, Mad Max and the Technomancer. Well, the latter was made by the same company and is set in the same game universe, so no surprises here. Anyway, it takes you to Mars, nearly a century after the cataclysm that drowned the planet and its colonists into chaos. And speaking about drowning, water has become the most precious resource on the planet, with a few companies fighting a perpetual war for its control. Well, honestly, I think that water is not what made the desert planet of Mars famous in the first place. Anyway, you play as Roy, a renegade with multiple talents. You will develop your character and your combat style by choosing among many skills and perks. Melee, ranged combat, stealth, or the devastating Technomant power. You know, you're some kind of lizard Harry. I mean Roy. So if you like this game, try the Technomancer as well, and don't pay much attention to the mostly positive or even mixed score it sometimes falls to. It's Eurojang, but it's nice. X4 Foundations. This is a space sandbox game where thousands of ships and stations trade, mine and produce. In this universe you can grow from being the lone pilot of a fighter ship to managing a vast empire, commanding your fleets and designing colossal space stations. The game is single player, so all this goodness is entirely your adventure. You'll encounter first-person action, boarding ships and visiting their bridges, and will have to put your filthy fingers on expansive strategy and management simulation. Here you will choose your own path at your own pace. You can start your journey from a number of different beginnings, and as a number of different characters, each with their own role, set of relationships and different ships and technologies. No matter how you start, you are always free to develop in any other direction, although people are complaining about unskippable dialogues and bad controls.
Gamedec.
This is a single-player, non-combat cyberpunk RPG. You are a game detective who solves crimes inside virtual worlds by using your wits to gather information from your witnesses and suspects. Also get to the bottom of deceptive schemes, save lives and investigate the relationships between virtual worlds and their inhabitants. The game continually adapts to your choices and never judges, just like your dog does. Also, it sounds a bit like Disco Elysium, and that's a great thing. Although keep in mind that here you will not find any battles and no fighting is available. Pick it up only if you like to read and carefully analyze sentences in dialogues. Siege Survival. Gloria Victis. Your country is invaded and your city is under a brutal siege. A small group of civilians are trapped in the only remaining stronghold. They are the last source of hope for the defending troops hanging on for their life. You might not be fighting the invaders yourself, but the fate of the city lies in your hands. You know, you are the manager. Without you, everything will succumb to chaos. You need better weapons, a roof over your head, hot food, and all the other things for, you know, existing. And the only way you'll get these is if you and your team craft them. But resources are limited and you'll need to sustain both soldiers and civilians. Maintaining this balance is not the job for the faint-hearted, believe you me. So you will have to find ways to preserve your potato salad, develop your infrastructure and use your supplies more efficiently. Main story will only take around 8 hours to beat, but if you want to unlock all the achievements, it will take you around 10 times more. People are saying that the game reminds them of the famous This War of Mine, and that is never a bad thing. S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 – Heart of the Chornobyl. Here you'll dive into the zone, a specific place around the area where Chornobyl power plant exploded one beautiful day. You probably saw the HBO series already that was filmed in my hometown of Vilnius, Lithuania. If not, do it. Jared Harris and Stellan Skarsgård were wonderful, and the series will perfectly immerse you into a cruel and deadly Soviet bureaucracy. Anyway, the zone around the power plant is deadly as well, and only the madman could go there and search for artifacts from another dimension in hopes of getting rich. You are that madman. Everyone calls you a stalker, but you are not alone. The whole community of people like you are scavenging these forsaken lands. Some are friendly, some are not. That's why you have an arsenal of various weapons. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but my advice would be shoot first, apologize later. You have no friends there. The scariest thing, of course, are not other scavengers, militia of every sort, or even anomalies, but creepy mutants. mountains. Oh man, I played the original games when I was a teenager and I was a bit traumatized by some of them, especially by that invisible shithead in the sewers. And he's back again. A bit too often, to be honest. After you kill it for like the 5th time, it's not scary anymore. But there are scarier things lurking in the depths of abandoned military facilities, and they will gladly meet you and eat you, or worse. Anyway, in a broader sense, S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 is not a horror game, but it often has strong horror episodes and a menacing atmosphere as well. Not as menacing as your ex-mother-in-law, but still really terrifying. And also, it is a beautiful game, and the visuals are fantastic. Citizen Sleeper. This is a serious game for serious people, and it has above 90% of positive reviews, meaning that this is a great game no matter how you look at it. Citizen Sleeper is a narrative RPG which takes you on Erlen's Eye, a ruined space station that is home to thousands of people trying to survive on the edges of an interstellar capitalist society. You are a sleeper, a digitized human consciousness in an artificial body, owned by a corporation that wants you back. So literally, someone owns your ass and the rest of you, and amongst the unfamiliar and colorful inhabitants of the Eye, you need to build friendships, earn your keep, and navigate the factions of this strange metropolis if you hope to survive. Game is text-based, with multiple endings, beautiful drawings, and sci-fi cyberpunk atmosphere. It's like a great book where you can actually tell the hero what he must do. Lonely Mountains Downhill. Sometimes all these story-heavy games can wear you down, so titles like Lonely Mountains can be really refreshing for your brain. Although be careful, this game will change your opinion about bikes as a safe and family-friendly transport vehicle. You'll witness many dumb ways to die and maybe even think about purchasing a helmet for your own calm weekend rides. So here you'll take on a thrilling ride down an unspoiled mountain landscape, make your way across thick forests, narrow trails and wild rivers, race, jump, slide and try not to crash, all the way from the peak to the valley. You'll often fail, but the more you train, the better you become. If you are in doubt, you can try the game demo for free. The Saboteur. A bit older game, but worthy of your attention without a doubt. The plot is set in an open-world Paris. You can climb the Eiffel Tower, snipe from Notre Dame Cathedral, and brawl on the Champs-Élysées as you sabotage your enemies. You will have to fight, climb, and prowl through the dark alleys, rooftops, burlesque houses, and seedy streets. Motivated by retribution and armed with tactics of sabotage, you will blow up zeppelins, derail trains, implode bridges, destroy armored tanks, and level enemy facilities in the name of vengeance in Nazi-occupied Europe. Here being the Saboteur is all about attacking while staying unnoticed. You will get your mission intel at underground clubs and cabarets, eliminate your adversaries with stealth attacks, disguise, distractions and explosives. Also master a variety of weapons, automobiles and skills to sabotage enemy operations. It's a fantastic game, absolute cult classic and a must-play for every action fan. Call of Juarez Gunslinger. This one and other games of the franchise are probably the most popular and well-known first-person shooters set in a Wild West. Here you will play as the best gunslinger West ever saw and blur the lines between man and myth. This adventure made of memorable encounters will unveil the untold truth behind some of the greatest legends of the Old West. And I'm talking about Billy the Kid, Pat Garrett, Jesse James and Dick Penison. Oh come on, who wrote this?
You did.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, with a gun holster tied to your leg, become a ruthless bounty hunter on a journey made of all-out gun battles. Master the art of blasting pistols, shooting rifles and dodging bullets.
Metaphorically, right?
No, it's exactly like in The Matrix. You can slow time and actually dodge bullets. How cool is that? Also, I really like the narration part of the game. It is trying to hold your attention even when nothing is happening. Let's say you climb the ladder, but at the same time you are listening to the story, and that is really cool. People are comparing the style with an action RPG game Bastion, which also has the narration implemented. This is a really great invention, and I wish that more games had something like that. Well, with the ability to turn it off, of course. Core Keeper. Drawn to a mysterious relic, you are an explorer who awakens in an ancient cavern of creatures, resources and trinkets. Here you will mine relics and resources to build your base, craft new equipment, survive and power up the core. Of course, you will need to defeat giant monsters, discover hidden secrets, farm crops, cook new recipes and explore a procedurally generated underground world in a mining sandbox adventure for 1 to 8 players. And I can for sure say that this is a good game. On Steam you will find about above 90% positive reviews left by tens of thousands of players who bought the game. Also, I must mention that Core-Keeper is way more fun in multiplayer mode, so grab your imaginary friend and dive into adventures together. Medieval Dynasty. Here you take on a role of a young man who has fled from war and wants to take his faith in his own hands. From being alone, inexperienced and poor, he will develop into a master of many skills, a leader of community and the founder of a prosperous dynasty. Dynasty which is meant to last and prosper for generations to come. So you can create a tiny medieval North Korea for yourself and thrive, while your friends eat grass. You will defend against wild animals, hunt for food, gather resources, craft equipment, build yourself a house and become a founder of a whole village. Tough winters and unexpected events will challenge your skills and dexterity as you strive to build your own legacy. One of the coolest things for me here is the entire year cycle, with 4 seasons and realistic wildlife that really helps with the immersion. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. This is a massive, challenging action RPG that drops you into a vast open world full of interesting characters and creatures. The game is made by Capcom, a Japanese company, but the whole setting of Dragon's Dogma is European. So you may think maybe because of that this game features some ridiculous moments, but Capcom was really serious about the job. They went all around Europe to actually get a lot of information, especially for the backgrounds and environments in the Dragon's Dogma. They looked at architecture and buildings and things of that nature, and also just natural environments as well. Also took many pictures and tried to recreate those as closely as possible. Well, a bunch of Japanese people in Europe taking pictures? Who could have thought? Anyway, developers actually did a lot of research in Europe that helped to recreate stuff in game, and that level of dedication is truly admirable. Dragon's Dogma has more strategy and more dynamic fights than usual action RPG games. You know, you can climb monsters here and that is super cool. Also, it's a tougher game in general. But if you like to explore the open world and love fantasy games, you can't ignore it. Gamers are talking that this is an underrated gem and is a must-play for every open-world RPG fan. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 Deluxe Edition. This is a third-person shooter where you will be able to play not only as a plant, as usual, but as a zombie as well. Here you'll find around 100 different playable character variants. You will engage in up to 24 player online battles in different modes. And when I say that, I mean it. The game was released a few years ago, but there are around 1,000 players online on a good day. So the game is alive and kicking. Not like zombies in this game, they are for sure long dead. Although they can kick, probably. Maybe. Anyway, there are also 4-player co-op and even solo options available. You won't find any campaign here, however you can play solo against AI in any game mode if you want. Game has 12 maps and around 90% positive reviews. What's not to like? Lost in Random. This is a gothic fairy tale inspired action adventure where every citizen's fate is determined by a roll of the dice. That may sound as a very random thing, and believe you me, it is, but around 90% of positive reviews are here for a reason. So you will step into a beautiful and haunted wonderland where you must venture through the 6 twisted realms of random, each with its own maddening set of rules. Help its unpredictable inhabitants, save your sister, well, or mine, I don't mind, and discover a twisted tale in the process. Basically, if you enjoy Tim Burton's creations, this game may be a real spoon of potato salad for you, because it definitely draws inspiration from Burton's works. The game has an interesting story with motivational moments you can relate to, nice humor but a bit clunky combat, and it's really short. Also, people on Steam are warning players that if you complete a chapter, you can't go back to it ever again. So if you are hunting for achievements, do it in the first try. Black Skylands. This is a steampunk experience that combines elements of open world, sandbox, top-down shooter and action-adventure games. Here you'll become a skilled and valiant young sky marshal, fighting to protect your people from the invading bad guys. You will take command of your own airship and embark on a journey through a world of boundless skies. Gather resources to craft powerful weapons, upgrade your ship to new heights, unearth ancient secrets and engage in beautiful battles. When I played the alpha or demo version of this game a few years ago, I was really impressed by the style of the game. It surely draws inspiration from Hayao Miyazaki and his creations. Also, do yourself a favor and prepare for yourself some Abney Park, Steam-Powered Giraffe and other soundtracks from steampunk bands. This way you can truly elevate your experience with Black Skylands, that's for sure. Sker Ritual. So if you know the first part, it's nothing like that. Made of Sker was a stealth horror game, and Sker Ritual is actually quite the opposite. Here you will dive into the first-person shooting action like never before. Well, honestly, like many times before, but you know, it's nice. To shoot massive hordes of creepy stuff is always nice. So this is obviously an intense, round-based zombie shooter. You can play it alone or up to 4 players online, and face relentless waves of enemies while at the same time solving mysterious missions, uncovering Easter eggs, upgrading steampunk weapons, and obtaining a vast network of Celtic gods' powers. Game has a very positive review score on Steam, and people who play the game in the comments are often saying that Sker Ritual was above the expectations. It is a very solid game to just have tons of fun. Ghostbusters, the video game remastered. Originally the game was released in 2009, but it was remastered in 2090s, and now it's shining like a modern game it should be. More than 90% of positive review scores can confirm that with ease. Here you will join the Ghostbusters team, fight monsters, capture ghosts, search for artifacts, and have a blast destroying almost everything around you. The single-player campaign will put you through a story full of mystery and adventure. This authentic experience features the voices of Bill Murray and other original actors. Even the story is written by the writers of original films. This is the real deal. So who you gonna call?
Yo mama.
Journey to the Savage Planet. As the newest recruit of Kindred Aerospace, the 4th best interstellar space exploration company, your job is to find out if this planet is suitable for humans. Well, honestly, probably not. Not at all, but you don't know that yet, and yet, here you are. You can play it alone or with a friend. Of course, you probably don't have one, so alone it is. This game may look like it's made for kids, but it's not. It has references of alien drugs and some more adult themes I don't think I can talk about if I want to stay monetized. But people are saying that the game has really great humor, awesome design of animals and plants, and really fun tools to use. Although some of the players are complaining that the game gave them headaches, like real headaches, probably from oversaturated colors and lots of movement, so keep that in mind if you are a bit more sensitive person. Tunguska, the Visitation. This is an isometric survival game that brings you to the dangerous Tunguska exclusion zone, where you'll face deadly traps, infectious mutants, bandits, and well-armed rogue military. Game is inspired by the same story as a Stalker, the roadside picnic written by the Strugatsky brothers. Keep in mind that they wrote the story before any serious nuclear accident ever happened, so it's not actually tied to Chernobyl or any other nuclear disaster, just a post-apocalyptic gritty and dark Soviet Union filled with unexplainable horror. Although you can literally describe a casual Soviet Union without any post-apocalypse with the same words. People in the comments are saying that if you like Stalker or Atom RPG games, it's a no-brainer. Also, it has very positive reviews on Steam. Just keep in mind that despite walls of text, looting and side quests, it is an actual twin-stick shooter, and at first may be difficult to control. Although from my own experience, when you get used to it, everything will be fine. Stolen Realm. The game has a simultaneous team turn system implemented for faster combat and character scaling, meaning that no matter how many people will join you on your quest, the overall difficulty of the game will stay the same. Here more than 240 skills in 8 distinct skill trees, 500 items and fun rewarding activities will keep you entertained. People are talking that the game is really enjoyable, but best if played in a group of 2 to 4 people. For example, I don't have this amount of friends, so I will skip it and keep my virginity strong with other games, but if you have a buddy or two, invite your both mothers-in-law and have fun together. And after that, of course, you can try this game. And now thank you for watching, have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Also subscribe. Bye.